get the music down. If you guys like what we do here, we do this Monday through Thursday. We just have conversations. We watch videos. We talk about articles. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, Greg, what do you got for us today?
Bad product, because it's a win for consumers. Now, typically,
Hold on, I want to start it over again.
I am sometimes happy when a bad entertainment product fails because
we were just talking about Minecraft, right? I'm also happy when something that I don't want to succeed doesn't succeed, right? I don't want everything to fail, right? But if you're going to shit on something like Minecraft, like a Star Wars show, then by all means, go ahead and burn.
It's a win for consumers. Now, typically, I reserve this joy for when a company attempts to sell a low-value, low-effort, minimum viable product that they believe will sell on name recognition alone. They insult the customer by not even trying, and in most cases, blame them, telling them to like something they don't. In those cases, when I hear the joyous thunderclap of millions of wallets snapping shut in protest, when I see sales and viewer count charts that could be mistaken for a graph of Andrew Tate's interest in girls as they progress past 16, then I make some popcorn, watching
and watch it burn.
The train wreck with glee, allowing the embers of said terrible product to warm the cockles of my heart in what the Germans like to call Schadenfreude.
You think this?
I really like reacting to when we came across Kingard. I like Kingard's editing style. I like the way he talks. I like the way Greg edits his, and I like the way he talks as well. Completely two different content creators making really good content on both sides. And I just like their perspective that they have. Obviously, I like them because they have a bit of my perspective of video games and whatnot that's happening in here as well.
It's funny?
Well, Terry, it sure as shit ain't sad.
Such was the case recently with two pieces of would-be entertainment that only really deserve that term if we also start applying it to sloth races and Berkeley University slam poetry nights. Both are Star Wars properties. A show, The Acolyte, and a game, Outlaws, and a last-minute edition of a game, Concord. Shall I compare them to a latrine pit? Both in their overall smell and the urgency with which we should bury them and move on. But before we do, let's have a laugh at these bad products getting exactly what they deserve. And
Greg's a really good writer. I like the way he does his writing.
Hopefully you agree I deserve to have my like button pressed. No, I'm sorry. No, I heard it. I hear it. No. A few months ago, Ubisoft
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
announced a couple of games that look terrible. One was Assassin's Creed Shadows, which will see the franchise finally going to Japan, and is arriving to the party about as late as the Borderlands movie, and seems like it was...
True. Yeah, I think that how late Shadows is to Japan, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't they do this like years ago? Nope, but now Ghost of Tsushima came out, and Ghost of Tsushima is obviously not the same type of game, but obviously it's going to be compared to it, just because that's just the way the gaming culture does.
Banking on the controversy of a black samurai to get attention. They even gave him a cool hip-hop track when he fights.
Greed cannot rule this village. Not while I have breath in my lungs and a blade in my hand.
I said kill him.
Is that the real song that played during that? I don't remember that.
A blade in my hand.
I said kill him.
That's racist.
Many aspects of that announcement have been criticized, but we'll find out in November whether any attention was paid to actual gameplay, or if shock tactics were all that was supposed to move this.
That's true. Did they just, gaslight and do stuff to get people excited about it, or did they actually make a game? We'll find out.
This title. But we don't have to wait for confirmation that the quadruple A game, Star Wars Outlaws, is in fact terrible. And I report to you with a smile that sales are well below expectation. Well, below corporate expectation. I mean, I knew it was going to flop. For those of us with the superpower, or quirk if you like, of pattern recognition, it was quite easy to tell that this was going to be worth about $20, if it would be worth playing at all. But
now, I've said this, okay? I'm enjoying Star Wars Outlaws, but I can also stand here and tell you that I totally get why it's getting shit on, right? Because obviously the stealth missions are bad, so much so, if you want to defend them, fantastic. But defend them knowing that the company itself is actually fixing them because they suck balls, okay? So I can also tell you that they think this game's worth $54 total at the max price. Because with the $18 a month, and if you get it and cancel it, and then get it and cancel it, and then get it and cancel it for the 3 DLCs or the season pass that comes out for it, that's how much that they're willing to give it to you at the lowest price, and they're still making a huge profit off of that. Okay. And this is exactly the reason that they're doing what they're doing. This is exactly the reason they have this laid out in front of you right here of these $70, the $110, the $130, and the $18. Because that's how much they think their game is worth. Their game is worth $18.
Ubisoft had other plans. See, they're doing a lovely new tiered pricing system where the base version of the game, the Broke Boy version, doesn't
The Broke Boy version. I love that he put Pokemon in there. What are you, broke? Can't afford my $20 cookies?
have all the content. And you have to sit in the penalty box for 3 days. You thought $70 was going to get you a whole game?
Look, I don't do this on purpose. I love the fact that I brought up the Space Marines 2 stuff. Okay, again, it's nothing about Space Marines, the game itself. It's the business model. And then we're watching a video that I haven't watched, haven't seen, and yet he brings up the exact same point for Star Wars Outlaws. Let me rewind this a little bit.
Base version of the game, the Broke Boy version, doesn't have all the content. And you have to sit in the penalty box for 3 days. You thought $70 was going to get you a whole game? I'm sorry, that's just the cover charge. $110 lets you play it at launch, or what they tried Gaslight as early access, plus the pieces of the game they carved out.
Just to make you sure, he's not rewinding this clip. This is what's happening.
So they could sell them back to you. That would be an extra mission for Jabba the Hutt and the planned DLC that also should have been in the game, but they held it back to create the illusion of value. Finally, they had a $130 version that also came with some digital clothing. Or
What? Digital clothing? Sign me up, Greg.
you could just sign up for Ubisoft Plus and you'd get all that useless crap for a paltry $18 a month and hopefully forget to cancel. Yeah, that's the game here. See, the other prices are a manipulation tactic to
That is right. God, thank you, Greg. It's going to be a great conversation on Wednesday, let me tell you.
funnel you into a subscription service that seems to be a better value. That's called price anchoring. But beyond the pricing tactics, the announcement came with no gameplay for the video game that they wanted you to pre-order. It did have a cinematic trailer, and even that looked like they accidentally used footage from a Star Wars game from 10 years ago. Plus, the company has a long track record of making bloated, boring games. Now, I was gonna play it just to be sure, but I realize that's not even necessary. And anyone who tells you that you have to try everything before you can say that it looks bad is a moron.
That's right, right? And I can tell you that obviously if you're a Star Wars fan, and no one's going to change your mind. If you're a Star Wars fan, by all means, go ahead and buy the game. Okay? But if I was you, as a content creator, making content, letting people know, and I don't make content like other people. I don't make a video, put it out there and say, watch my review, do this. No, my content is come and watch me play the game, ask questions as we're playing the game, and I'll give you my honest opinion during the gameplay of the game. And it changes as we play. Okay? If you're not a Star Wars fan, you don't need to play this game day one. You don't need to play or own this game day one. I would suggest waiting, and if you have to play it, then give them the $18, but make sure you cancel the same day you subscribe to Ubisoft Plus.
Besides, I'm already enjoying both a replay of Dark Souls 2, which I'm happy to report is better on the second time. Here's my character, Theodore Roosevelt. I'm never taking this armor off. Look at his little coffee cup. Me and 2 million other people are also playing Black Myth Wukong, which is very good thus far, with a couple critiques, but I'm also not done with Chapter 1, so take that with a grain of salt. But when Outlaws dropped, I was also suffering through the first 3 episodes of Rings of Power Season 2, and
oof. Oh man, I might watch his review of it because I've never watched the show at all. I watch like Neurotic, Critical Drinker, and other people, Disparu on shows that I don't want to watch, and I laugh more watching them criticize the stuff. So I might watch Greg. Greg just did a review of The Acolyte. It's better than the actual show. Like, he breaks it down really nicely.
I'm only gonna endure one piece of crap at a time.
I'm not strong enough.
I did, however, keep tabs on the previews that Ubi was putting out, and now the final reviews. It doesn't even feel good to be as right as I am about this game, and have been since the day it was announced. To say that I feel good about being right would imply some kind of relief, or possibly that I
Yeah, the characters are as dumb as possible, right? He says, this isn't from a mocking montage. This is just real gameplay.
could have been wrong. And betting against this game was like betting on a coin toss where you win if the coin comes back down. Of course it's bad. It always was. Outlaws sounds like typical Ubisoft with zero attempt to improve it. It actually sounds like a Ubisoft game from a decade ago. But nevertheless,
Is that guy sleeping, standing up? How does he not see him? See, when I know exactly where he is in the game, or wherever this person, the Brad, I went around and killed him first instead of killing the guy because obviously that guy's back is towards us, so he wouldn't see us. Because obviously I was afraid, which now I know he doesn't actually even wake up here, because obviously that guy can see you. Right? He can see you, right? He's got to be able to see you.
Regular UB
If not, the Empire needs to like change the helmet style up because my God.
game with a Star Wars skin this time. We all have our favorite genre, so there might be some folks who enjoy the comfort food of a familiar game. This game is the chicken strips of video games for those people who enjoy the Ubisoft open world cluttered UI experience. I get it. Some people order them everywhere, but you don't pay a premium for chicken tendies. The very best that can be said about this game is that it is painfully average.
Well, you can pay premium price, Greg, for chicken tendies. I mean, what about if you get them 3 minutes early, maybe 30 minutes early? Maybe you want to get dinner for your son and they get to eat first. You pay a premium price for it. I don't know. People might do it.
Average. It is a minimum viable product. Yet even now, this video will garner comments telling me, oh, come on, it's not that bad. As though that is some kind of compliment. I'm getting the same thing on Rings of Power Season 2. This game is a 4, but people will tell you to be more generous and give it a 5. Oh, well, in that case,
I never had any of this happen. I've had one glitch. It was on stream with you guys, which when I took out the officer inside the ship, and that was early on in the game. I would say about a couple hours, like 3 hours in, 4 hours in. I think it was the first stream we did. Maybe it was the second. I knocked him out, and yet he was still talking the entire time.
I'll rush right out and pay full price. Here's a small clip that I saw of Asmongold playing it. I'll link it. It's only 2 minutes long, but you really should watch the entire thing.
How do they not see him?
The main character is in a base of some sort, but this
God's
patch
sakes.
of sea oats is growing inside of it for reasons. The enemy AI is hilariously bad, and no one can find or hit the character when she is super hidden in this bush.
God.
Indoor.
See, you know why I don't get stuff like this? Do you know why I don't get stuff like this? Is because I don't play like this. I literally hide behind boxes and methodically like take out each guy because I don't want to ruin it for myself. But you can see that you could just do this.
There are numerous complaints about the fact that the character can't carry enemy weapons up a ladder or while sliding or while doing anything, really. This game features a
Where is this? That's not even... That's glitched out.
reputation system for the various gangs you have
Where
to deal
is
with,
this?
but has about as much impact as a full-force punch from a toddler. Then there was the gameplay footage that the company themselves put out that had enemies standing around.
Crowded says, you guys just don't get it. You can't see her because she's such a badass. It's exactly what it is, Crowded. It's exactly what it is.
Not even trying to hit you. Gunplay that looked terrible. The gameplay mechanics felt incongruent, painting you as a smuggling scoundrel who only has a pistol, so you better use your wits. But then also as a one-man army, blowing up whole bases, taking out 2 or 3 dozen enemies with that pistol. The textures themselves appear to be straight from a PS3 title, and let's
Yeah, you know why they didn't show? In all the stuff they showed, they never showed the actual chase scenes or why you're on the bike or anything like this, because this stuff here is exactly how they're showing you. You kill people, they fly off in weird directions, they run into things. This needs to be fixed inside the game.
Let's not forget about the bug montage. This game has so many bugs. Even Todd Howard is looking at this game like, wow, these clipping issues are pretty bad. But beyond the basic gameplay with its horrible enemy AI, its insta-fail stealth missions, its overused lockpick mechanic, its terrible speeder controls and combat, its bad shooting mechanics, aside from those things, the company still remains as scummy as ever. And console players who paid extra to get this game early.
And this is what I always talk about. It's not about the game. It's about the business models of these companies. I will die on this hill. I will defend against these corporations that try to get money out of your pocket for an incomplete product.
Actually got the beta version, full of bugs. One of those bugs needed a patch that required them to start the game over.
Full refund. Full refund. I already talked about that.
Complete. They paid at least $40 extra for the early version, spent hours playing that buggy inferior version, then downloaded a patch that reset their progress back to the start. Not to fear though, Ubisoft made good on it by giving them 100 units to the Ubisoft Rewards store, which can be redeemed for in-game items or 20% off a future purchase.
Don't do it.
That is also a scam, by the way, designed to get a foot in your door and use the Ubisoft store for your next purchase, where you will then get a little more of these units. As all digital currencies are designed to, this makes you feel like you should buy more because you're already more than halfway to your
That's right. That's right. They give you in-game currency, which is bullshit. It's another stupid fucking corporate stuff. Oh, we fucked up on our end, but we're going to give you not your money back, because why would we give you your money back? We're going to give you a in-game currency. We just happen to have this cosmetic item that we had in the background that we didn't put in the game that we're going to put in and give you guys. Awesome. And on top of that, we're going to give you 100 of our Ubisoft Connect coins. Don't forget to link up your account so we can give you yet another cosmetic item that we didn't put in the game just for this reason alone, just because we knew something was going to happen. By all means, thank you for supporting us, and thank you very much for your $120 and your waste of time. Here you go with your trinket that's on a handlebar that's like this big.
Next 20% off coupon. This process of always leaving you with a tiny bit of currency is called breakage. It's exactly the same as Old Navy or Kohl's Cash.
Yep.
The
Keep coming back. You spent $10 with us? Well, you have a $5 Kohl's Cash card to come back again.
bloated games in the subscription service make you feel like you should keep playing them because you already invested time. Why not finish it? And then that results in another month of the subscription. That's the sunk cost fallacy they bank on. Guys, the psychological manipulation in the games industry right now is insane. But as I said, this title is not selling well, and if I had a tail, I'd be wagging it, because I get excited when a company like this tries to manipulate their audience and give them a terrible product, and it backfires. The company stock just hit a 10-year low, reflecting their trend of laziness. This is an absolute win for gamers and consumers in general.
I hope so. I don't want to count the eggs before they hatch.
More people need to view themselves as businesses and treat their own time and money as capital. And
I do agree with that 1,000%. 1,000%.
viewed that way, this game is a terrible investment, and it is good that fewer people are making it. In other Star Wars
I'm sorry. I gotta.
investment,
happening
and it is
here?
good that fewer people are making it. In other Star Wars news, Sam's Club is selling this Lego set with an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter, and you can take the wings off and you can, I don't know why you would
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
want to do that, but you can. As soon as I build these, they're going to go on the shelves behind me.
I'm so happy.
In still other Star Wars news, you've probably heard by now that The Acolyte was canceled, or not renewed if you're coping especially hard. Once again, I bring you this news with a grin that, unlike most book characters, does reach my eyes. A massive company ignored what their customers wanted and thought the almighty brand was powerful enough to make them show up to the slop trough no matter how bad the product.
Don't think so, Charlie. Even the pigs won't eat it.
I am brimming with glee to tell you that the audience grew some self-respect and standards and refused that trash. Here to explain why it was canceled, the show star Amanda Stenberg reporting. Amanda.
For those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol that we have faced.
It's so depressing. It's so depressing. Your writers suck. Your writers suck. This is nothing against you specifically, Amanda. Okay, you're an actor. You acted, right? Your characters suck. That's not saying you suck. I mean, you actually do suck as a person because of what you've done, but not because of the Acolytes. What you've done to the fan base after they didn't like the stuff in the Acolyte. Okay, like. People can't, like, these are the same people that defend, I paid $70 for a video game, so now I have to defend it to the world, right? She's an actress. She's an actress that acted, and people didn't like the product that she was in. And when they say that the character's bad, we're not saying that she's bad. Now we're saying she's bad because of what she did with the music video and everything else, and I don't even know what she said here. We'll listen to it in a second. But that is the reason that we don't like the show. We don't like the show because of you, because you're black, even though you have I think a Dutch father who's white, right? So you're not even full black. You're Milano, and you're also whatever. But anyway, we don't care what your sexuality is. We don't care what your race is. We didn't like your character. The character sucked. The writing sucked. The show sucked.
Since the show was even announced, when it was still just a concept and when no one had even seen it, and that's when we started experiencing a rampage of, I would say, hyper-conservative bigotry.
Of course, yeah. Hyper-conservative bigotry. Yep.
And
not bad writing.
And vitriol.
Not bad acting.
Prejudice, hatred, and hateful language towards us. I just want to let those people know out there who supported us in that way, and supported us vocally.
Thank you, everyone, for supporting us, all of you. That wasn't enough for the show because companies are here to make money. There wasn't enough of you to make money for the show. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Oh, wait. 98% of the people that didn't watch the show are the people that actually wanted to watch the show but weren't interested in the show because they were called bigots, racist, and sexist. Got it.
Despite and in the face of all of the vitriol that we received and the kind of the targeted attack, I would say, we received by the alt-right.
Not only did she clearly learn the word vitriol the day before
Oh, God.
that video was made, but Amanda has also gone to the children's school for arguing, where you paint your opponents with a broad brush instead of hearing what they actually say. Before we knew anything about this show, we knew this. This article was one of the first things anyone saw about it. Before casting was done, before the script was written, we're talking bare bones early stages. The showrunner Leslie Headland said that her queerness will seep into the script. It can't be helped. When the actors appeared at the big convention a year before the show came out, we got immortal sound bites like this.
My character,
Yes.
you know, she's a powerful leader. She's a powerful leader. Yes. In a very woman-centered world, which I
Remember when Star Wars was just Star Wars? Remember when Star Wars was just Star Wars? Remember when you talked about the characters of Star Wars? Luke, Han, Leia, Darth Vader, Boba Fett. Yes. I remember talking about that stuff. Not the characters behind.
Well, I was very excited to kind of be that, because I feel like Star Wars is very like patriarchal, so it was kind of cool to have like this sort of woman-centered figure.
Yeah, they praised the show's diversity, said Star Wars has always been very patriarchal, said it's never been safe for women and people of color before, and they also displayed.
I have a question. Who in chat likes Star Wars, loved Star Wars, the original 4, 5, and 6, and you're not white? Anybody in chat? Anybody in chat that's not white likes Star Wars? Because obviously, not Greg's not saying this, obviously, but they.
Yeah, they praised the show's diversity, said Star Wars has always been very patriarchal, said it's never been safe for women and people of color before.
Never been safe for women and people of color, right? Like, imagine. Do you know the difference is that Disney doesn't understand because they didn't own it. Lucas did. And Lucas, everybody loved it. You could literally go back to 1977 when the movie came out and show like the people that went to the theater, and there was women and men of color and Hispanics and Chinese people, and all races, genders went to go see the movie. You know why? Because it was just a movie. It was just a movie. And then people fell in love with that movie. Then people fell in love with the characters of that movie. And then they made a sequel of Empire Strikes Back. And then they made another sequel of Return of the Jedi. And then it was the most watched profitable film for decades until like the late 90s, okay? Because the fan base was everybody. It was everybody. Everybody. There was so many people that loved Star Wars. And then Disney bought it and said, all of these people, yeah, we need to get these people over here. The people that play with Barbies, these people hate Star Wars. So we need to get this 5% of the audience with this 95% of the audience. We need to push these guys aside because this is a bigger fan base. Ta-da!
4, and they also displayed a complete lack of understanding of morality.
I mean, the best parts about Star Wars is there is no good or evil. Depends on what side you're standing on, truly.
Nope, wrong.
The only thing anyone ever said
Oh, man. What a great clip to put in. Let's watch that again.
Lack of understanding of morality.
I mean, the best parts about Star Wars is there is no good or evil. Depends on what side you're standing on, truly.
Nope, wrong.
The only thing anyone ever
That's exactly right. Wrong.
said about the actual show at hand was that it was going to explore the dark side, give us a view into the Sith way of thinking, which does sound really cool, and it didn't do that. So Disney has developed a track record of poor quality Star Wars shows and movies that rely more on key jangling than storytelling, and this new show was announced, and the actors and writers involved couldn't stop talking about the superficial qualities the show would boast. The audience said, we want some Star Wars, and the folks
Hey, there's actually stuff in his cup. I just saw a splash come out when he moved the cup.
Folks making it said, look, it's got diversity. There was a complete disconnect between what the audience wanted and what the show was serving. So no one showed up to watch.
Right.
No one showed up to watch the most expensive Star Wars.
It cost $630,000 for every minute of screen time. Given that The Acolyte was estimated to have a $180 million budget before this, the 8 episodes are about 40 minutes long on the average. That would actually push it closer to $200 million. Maybe deduct a bit for some of the minutes of the opening or closing credits, but yeah, probably right around $180 million for 8 episodes.
Star Wars show ever made. So the company that funds it didn't want to fund any more of it.
Just to let you know, Godzilla -1 cost $6 million. $6 million.
And I am baffled at how anyone is confused by this. Naturally, when it did fail, the usual suspects were blamed. Incels, racist, phobes. And as usual, it revealed the ego behind the scenes because they think it's your job to tune in, not their job to entice you. And honestly, even I
want to listen to that again because that's exactly right, right? Here's the thing. I go live every day, right? I go live every day and I try to make it entertaining. I try to bring up different topics. I try to bring up stuff, get chat involved. I try to entice you to keep involved with the channel, right? I don't assume that, yep, everyone was here yesterday is going to be here today. Everybody that watches, no, I do what I do. They think because they make product, right, that, well, we made it. How come no one's here? Everyone should be here. Oh, they must be bigots.
It did fail. The usual suspects were blamed. Incels, racist, phobes. And as usual, it revealed the ego behind the scenes because they think it's your job to tune in, not their job to entice you. And honestly, even I fall victim to playing along with their little narrative. I'm here saying that people refused to watch this show or buy that game, as though we should assume anyone was going to by default. You and I didn't buy or watch lots of things today for many reasons.
Right. Just because I didn't watch the news today doesn't mean I'm racist against the news. Just because I didn't watch a cartoon with my son doesn't mean I'm a bigot and racist because of the cartoon. It just means I don't want to watch the cartoon. I don't want to watch the news. I don't want to watch that movie or show. I don't want to partake in that. It doesn't interest me. It doesn't look like it's good.
Why do we describe it as we rejected that thing as though it was a given that we should accept?
Exactly.
And now we're breaking the mold? It's that subtle language that gets you. Even the istophobe excuses don't make any sense. If somebody genuinely believed that the Star Wars audience really was a racist mob of misogynistic homophobes, but they go ahead and make a show anyway that will send that army of straw men over the edge, frothing with rage, then who's the dumb one, really? These folks cry online about the whole audience having a nut allergy, but they made peanut brittle anyway.
That's right.
That's not a really good analogy.
Yeah.
Because peanut brittle is delicious.
It is delicious.
This show is not peanut brittle. Whole audience having a nut
Right. Because then if this show is peanut brittle, then people would actually enjoy it.
allergy, but then they brought pecan pie, which is disgusting. I will not hear otherwise. The largest Star Wars YouTuber on this platform, Star Wars Theory, has been very critical of the show and is repeating.
He's the most laid-back Star Wars Theory. I would love to interview him. He's the most laid-back dude I've ever seen, right? I've never met him in person. Just watching his stuff and all the stuff that he gets shit on for, he is just so like level-headed, right? Like his blood pressure is just constantly just solid, right? Most laid-back, really smart. Like he just stays super calm and focused on when he goes against people.
Again and again and again, make your logical arguments on why the show is bad. Please don't stoop to insults and identity politics. So I took that advice. It was a terrible show from a writing standpoint, and if you've got 2.5 hours to spare, you can hear me talk all about it.
His video for 2.5 hours, I watched the tail end of it. He was live. That's actually how I got in contact with him again, because I sent him an email, and it he's busy, so because he does this, he's got his full-time job, and he's got family. And I went to his live chat, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I watched the tail end of it, like the last 45 minutes. I went back, I was like, I had to watch the rest. It's fantastic. If you have time, go watch his breakdown of it. It's really good.
I'll link it below, or it'll be in a box right here at the end of the video. Not once during that video does Amanda's race come up. Or
That's correct.
The only mention of race is a joke about Soul's name seeming like a race joke because he's Korean. And there is 1 minute where I wonder how the lesbian showrunner Leslie Headland managed such an own goal, making lesbians and fathers' homes look so terrible. Everything else, though, is about the plot, character, dialogue, visuals, and I didn't even dig that deep. If you're wondering if the show could possibly be that bad, or if it's just a victim of the culture war, I filled up 2.5 hours dissecting its technical components, and I left a lot out that could have gone in.
He could make 8 episodes at 2 hours apiece.
They made a poor product, and that product failed.
Yep.
Don't be shocked. You're shocked? You're shocked?
But now we have sudden virtue signals about how amazing the show was and how unfair it is to cancel it. Acolyte's sudden defenders feel very much like these sudden Kamala Harris fans who apparently didn't know who she was back in the cold winter of 2019 when she couldn't find 2 donors to rub together for warmth and didn't even make it to the first primary. Also, that petition to renew the show, that's fake. My channel email address was used for one of the submissions. I got this thank you from change.org for...
Yeah, they don't verify anything for this. This is literally like 10 people making as many emails as possible so it looks like more people are interested in the actual show.
Signing the petition to renew The Acolyte, which was quite a surprise to me. For those of you that think change.org means anything, they don't even verify the emails that are used to sign these petitions. Last bit of good news, the game Concord is being completely shut down after being live for 2 whole weeks. The day this video comes out, it will be turning its servers off, which is amazing. It is reported to have sold maybe 25,000 copies, and on its launch day, it had its highest number of concurrent players, peaking at 697. There's no 1,000 after that. It was just 700 people. For comparison, a game people were actually looking forward to, Black Myth Wukong, had over 2 million players that week. They worked to deliver a solid action RPG.
That's a lot of racists. It's a lot of racist and misogynistic people that didn't play Concord and went to go play Wukong instead.
That would appeal to fans of titles such as God of War and Dark Souls. They didn't mention anything else. They just said, we heard you like these games, and we made a high-quality product to
make a game, sell a game.
Taste. Concord, on the other hand, lazily tried to copy existing hero shooters without innovating at all, and charging for it where other games in the genre are free. They included character models that are not appealing, and the gameplay was...
And they're not going to tell you those numbers, Travis. The game literally actually comes out today.
...sluggish and not enjoyable. After its open beta in the summer, which saw the peak player count cut in half from Thursday to Sunday, falling from 2,400 to 1,100, it was widely panned as being unfinished and not worth playing, even if it were free. Then it launched for $40 and failed. Sony bought the studio working on it, obviously thinking they could slap yet another live service game onto the market and rake in the cash. No attempt was made to serve the player, so they passed, and I'm ecstatic. I appreciate that you spent some of your time here with me, and I'm excited to see more and more of you being conscious about where you spend your time and your money. Make these companies work for you,
exactly,
not the other way around. If you are interested to hear a critique of the atrocity that was The Acolyte, that shockingly doesn't contain the word woke, even once, because it doesn't need to, you can click this box.
Go check out that video. It's very, very good. Right? If you like the writing side, Greg is a very good, he breaks it down really good.
Right here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.